this team had something to prove. We had a lot of individuals on this team that had something to prove. We had a young team, so they were still trying to develop, a reputation for themselves as players, as well as how our team would develop. And the team was important, to these guys. They like each other. They get along well. So teams in the past, a lot of our teams had such high expectations going into the season for individual players who already had first-round grades to, the team's supposed to be number one all year and win the championship. That took some of the fun out of it for the players, which is never good. You want to see your players happy when they win, excited when they do well, enjoying making plays and enjoying each other. And I think that's something that this team has been able to do. I don't know if I qualified the circumstances very well, but that's what this team has been able to do. So they've had fun. We've had fun coaching them, and they've gotten better. And hopefully we can continue to do that.
Yeah, you talked about guys working their way into first-round grades publicly and everything like that through the season, how nice that's been. That's real fulfillment, I would assume, for you. Are you feeling a lot of fulfillment with this particular team and watching them develop and grow?
I am, but I think that, your legacy as a team and how the team gets remembered is always going to come down to how you finish. So how we finish this season will be huge in terms of the positive self-gratification that this team can get for what they've put into it, how they've developed, how they've improved, the work that they've done. And, that's something I'm very hopeful that I can contribute to in a positive way for them.
Hey, the amount of reunions that you're going to have, you know what I mean? It's going to be every year. We got a 10-year reunion of what? National championship. We got a 10-year reunion of what the next year? National championship. We got a 15-year reunion of what? That national championship we did the other one. Yep. Those are beautiful things. Those teams are bonded forever because of that. And you've obviously experienced that more than most folks. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, I believe on Saturday was the first time this season that the offensive line hadn't given up a sack this year. And you guys obviously just out-physicaled and dominated a very physical team on both sides of the ball. I'm just curious, how impressed have you been with the offensive line's kind of progression this season? And also, when you have some younger guys on the offensive line, regardless of, whether they're five-star guys coming out of high school or whatever it may be, is this usually about the amount of time it takes for them to kind of be battle-tested in the SEC and kind of realize, like, hey, this is what it's going to take to kind of get it done on this level?
Yeah, well, I think, that's different for every individual. Guys develop and progress at, a different pace, a different rate. Some of it has to do with maturity. Some of it has to do with the kind of program they were in high school and what kind of challenges they had to meet. And some of it has to do with guys not really understanding, what do I really need to do to prepare to be able to play well? The mindset that you need to have to be able to play at a higher level. Because you got a lot of guys that have just been better than everybody else that they played against. So there was no significance to paying attention to detail. And now you get in college and you're playing against guys that are equal or better than what you're used to. And you got to pay attention to detail. You got to prepare. You got to do the little things right. And each guy sort of progresses at a little different pace and sort of realizing that. Everybody wants to play, but guys have to understand, what do I have to do to develop to play well? Because playing well is what really develops value for you in your future, and it's also what contributes to the success of the team.
Is this about the time though, if they're battle tested? Like, when do you, like you said, it's each individual person. You think with this team though, like, hey, I feel like we've been through a lot. Well, we through the year we've gone through this with you. When we went to Mississippi State, remember, we're out on the road, night game. How are we going to do? We answered. Obviously, beginning of the season, bench quarterback, he answers. It feels like we had to run the ball, answer. Had to throw the ball, answer. It feels like, right? It feels like, huh?
Well, so far, and I sort of told our players, they've taken care of business about every challenge, even when people wrote us off early in the season, when we made significant changes, like you talked about the quarterback situation. But everybody's answered the bell. We've always taken care of business, which I think you like that kind of competitive edge on your team. And hopefully we can continue to build on that. But to further answer the question, I am pleased with the progress that the offensive line has made. And I think they're playing together better now, communicating better now than they did all season.